From the Clark Ford Studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MBW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon Podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
That broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neil McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Welcome into this Friday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neil McCready, Clark Ford Studio. It is game day in Oxford, Ole Miss, and Jacksonville State. Tonight, 7 p.m. from Swayze Field. Should be a pretty packed house for that one. And Illinois and Clemson, the leadoff game, the 2 and the 3 seed, the Fighting Illini, and the Tigers from Swayze Field at 3. That game's on ESPNU, by the way, if you'd like to just click it on, watch who Ole Miss's opponent will be one way or the other. Tomorrow on Saturday, again, Clemson and Illinois both holding aces. We have a thing on the message board this morning about Jacksonville State ace Garrett Farmer. I dove into him a little bit, scouting report, what he likes to do, what Ole Miss needs to do to be effective, and whatnot. So that is on the message board at rebelgrove.com. If you're a subscriber, you can access that. And if you're not a subscriber, well, you should be. Then you'll be able to access it. But we're going to talk for the next hour. We'll answer some of your questions. We'll hit some of our own topics as well on the Oxford Exxon Podcast, brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon and Blue Sky, Highway 6 West in Oxford. You know about the lunch specials, you know about the ribs, and you know about the daiquiris. $3.99, the cheapest. You can get up to 44 ounces of daiquiri if you would like. It is going to be another scorcher. It's already pretty humid outside right now at 8:09 a.m. as I'm saying this. So head on over to Blue Sky, get a daiquiri, get a lunch special, get some good gas prices, and fill up the tank while you're at it. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. You call the number. You ask for Corey Clark. You tell Corey what Ford you're looking for. He sends you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's really that simple. That's how it works. It's very efficient for him. It's efficient for you, too. If you're in the market for a vehicle, you think you're in the market for a vehicle, get the quote. At the very least, it's a baseline for you moving forward. It's probably going to intrigue you and get you to look even further and look even harder at Clark Ford, and it's probably going to put you in a Clark Ford. I'm telling you that from personal experience, and a lot of others out there would vouch for me as well. So 662-257-1900 at the end of your deal. Tell Corey that you heard about Clark Ford on this podcast, and you'll save $500 off the already great bottom line.
So, did you see this? I'm going to get to questions in a second, but it's Friday, so we can talk about whatever we want. See where the spelling bee ended last night with 8 winners? Yeah,
I was out walking the dogs this morning, and I read about that. They went past midnight. They went through 20 rounds. They were running out of words that they had, pre-approved to ask the contestants.
Yeah, the championship words when you get to a certain round.
Normally, I would be pretty critical of this and call it a participation trophy and millennials and such. But the more I read, the more I sort of understood the decision.
Yeah, I don't know what their other option was at that point. They were out of options. When we've had 2 winners before, we've had where you got down between 2 and just kept going all through all the words. But at some point, you do just run out of words, and it looked like from a complete field standpoint, this is one of the strongest fields they've had. I don't know. Spelling bees fascinate me for some reason. And
they literally were facing a decision after midnight of, okay, do we go try to find more words?
Yeah, and do you call it for the night and bring them back at 10 a.m. the next morning? What do you do? Yeah,
and that, there are some logistical issues probably to, the building and all of those things. And I get it. I mean, They weren't stumping those kids. And so, you don't want to keep going till 3 or 4 in the morning because now a kid's going to lose because he or she is, just fatigued. And I get it. Congratulations to all 8 of them. And they're not splitting up the prize. They're all getting a first prize. I think
50 grand and a cup.
Awesome. Good for them. I mean, those are hard words, man. I mean, and in that pressure, you don't choke at all and you nail it.
I wonder a little bit about the time, the effort, and whether it's healthy to prepare for this thing annually. But otherwise, I give them credit. It's very impressive. Congratulations to, there was a Mississippian from Oak Grove that I think finished 11th, 13th, something like that. I did see that. She's an 8th grader. So anyway, just saw that last night from the Clarion Ledger, and then read about it this morning. 8 winners to the spelling bee this year, and yeah, I saw a couple of the words, and I went, "No way, that's a real word. No way, that's made up." It's like, because one of them was like, "This is a variation of this word," and even the other word that was the variation, I did not know or understand how to pronounce it. I said, "Okay."
No, and the thing about it is, yeah, there's a ton of preparation. It's obsessive. I'm guessing that preparation does carry over into other things. It's not like if you're spending your entire childhood playing travel baseball and then baseball doesn't work out, that's gonna, that's gonna help you get a chemical engineering job or something. I mean, there's probably some residual positive impact from having that sort of grasp on, because what you end up having to do is you have to have a great grasp on languages, plural.
Well, yeah, it's in some ways it's a lot of memorization, because you have to understand the origins and the concepts of how you get here. You're not actually even worried about the pronunciation of the word. You're worried about where it came from and how they put the word together.
Right. Now, it's fascinating to me, and those you have to be really bright. I mean,
Thanks, Neil. Yeah.
Your brain has to work at a really high level to get to that place, and I don't know. To me, those kinds of kids are they're really kind of fascinating, because like there were Oxford High had 9 national merit finalists, and some of those kids are and Campbell's been in that class since the 2nd grade. So I've known about a lot of these kids for a long time. They're so exceptionally bright that it almost makes it difficult sometimes for them to socialize, really, because they're on a different level than their peers. So I don't know. I think those kinds of kids are just sometimes remarkably fascinating, because they're so smart, almost smart to the point that it's hard to function.
Let's dive into some questions. There'll probably be some baseball stuff in here, and frankly, at this point, I don't know what to say. We're going to play they're going to play. Ole Miss is going to play Jacksonville State tonight. Clemson and Illinois are going to play, and we'll go from there. If this is from Colonel 3491 kicking us off, if Ross Bjork was AD and Ole Miss went 0-2 in this home regional, would Mike have survived? The answer is no. Mike would have had to win the regional, in my opinion, to keep his position. Now it's a completely different thing. Mike is safe. Mike will not be losing his job for a number of reasons. At the end of the season, I expect him to get rolled over. I expect that contract to go to 4 years, and I expect them to go into 2020 with as stable of a situation as you can have, given that we have no idea who the athletic director is going to be. Obviously, when there's a new AD, we don't know what his requirements are. We don't know what his situation will be on how he cares about baseball or any of that stuff. But as the current setup goes, Mike, I think is pretty concrete at the moment. Disagree? Good.
Oh, no, I completely agree.
Yeah.
I'm on the exact same page.
If Ross was not trying on belt buckles, cowboy boots, and maroon blazers right now, I have a feeling there would be a much different tone about this weekend.
Yeah, I think that's true. Howdy.
Howdy. Have you ever said howdy in your life? When it's not like in a sarcastic way?
No.
Not your thing?
I mean, not only is it not my thing.
You do have a cowboy shirt. You ought to give that to Ross before he leaves. You got to give him that blue cowboy shirt.
I've already been shamed into giving it away. It's gone.
Oh, you gave it away?
Yeah, I cleaned out my closet. It
couldn't even stay in your closet, huh?
No, it's gone.
Looked like something Rascal Flatts would wear.
Yeah, it did. I mean, in fairness, yeah. One time around Jeffrey and got shamed into a place where I'd never wore it again.
Well, you wore it during one of our little weekly video things. It was one of those. It was when we used to do the 5 questions going into the football Saturday. That's what it was.
Yeah, I just don't put a lot of thought really into what I wear most days, because it doesn't matter. I'm not changing the world. I mean, there's nothing I'm going to put on much that's going to help much. So I don't know, but yeah, he made fun of it to the point that I never wore it again.
It is good that the guy that makes fun of you is the same one that a few years ago, when he almost got beat up by the 80-year-old man at the country club, he had pink shorts on and got called pink shorts for a night by the man that was trying to hit him over the head with a beer bottle. So it's good. All right, moving on. Most likely team to knock Arkansas for a loop and out of their own regional. The two contenders, because the 4 seed's not winning that regional. I don't even know who it is. I think it's Central Connecticut State. Can you name Central Connecticut State's mascot, by the way? I have no idea. Wouldn't know where to start.
Central Connecticut State, they're the Minutemen.
You think they're the Minutemen?
I don't know.
All right, Central Connecticut Baseball, looking it up.
Okay.
Let's see. Sorry, this is what I do. They are the Blue Devils.
Oh, that's close.
Close. Minutemen, Blue Devils. Yeah. Central Connecticut State is in New Britain, Connecticut. They are the representatives from the Northeast Conference. But the two teams that matter are Cal, they're the number 2 seed, and TCU, the 3 seed, who is metrically the worst at-large selection in NCAA tournament history. They were under 500 in the Big 12. They were under 500 counting the Big 12 tournament. And they had a 59 RPI in a power conference. They had no business being in this field whatsoever. My theory, frankly, is that it was a Chris Del Conte, the AD at Texas, who was on the committee, doing a favor to Schlossnagle because he used to be the AD at TCU. He told Schlossnagle not to take the Texas job, that he would take care of him. And about 6 months later, he took the Texas job himself. So just my theory that Del Conte helped Schlossnagle a little bit and did him a solid getting him into the field. But they have an arm. I don't think they're holding him. I think they've got to throw him against Cal. If you told me Cal hit their way into a final to pressure Arkansas, I wouldn't be shocked. Arkansas has had some offensive issues the last couple weeks. They're the clear favorite in this regional, but Cal's good. Cal is a very good program. They're a good team. They could mess with them. They probably have the best player on the field, and when you have that, you never know. So I think Cal could give Arkansas a run.
They had that outfielder who's a outside candidate to be the number 1 pick next week.
Yeah, no, they're good. I mean, they're legitimately good. I just don't see anybody going in there and beating Arkansas, though. I mean, we can,
No, let's put it this way. If you give me Arkansas or the field, I don't hesitate. I take Arkansas.
Oh, I know.
They're really good in the postseason. They've been really good in the postseason for a long time. They were one of the teams. I'm not minimizing either of their losses in the SEC tournament, but they were one of the teams that had absolutely nothing to gain and everything to lose in Hoover. And so, if they weren't just completely locked in, I get it.
You were, by the way, you were thinking about Andrew Vaughn, the first baseman from Cal who won the Golden Spikes Award last season.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I apologize. He's like a 5'11" guy. He doesn't really fit the prototype for
but he just hits.
But he just hits, and so a lot of teams have to decide. It's kind of interesting on him because I've read about the draft a good bit. With him, it's kind of interesting in a number of ways because in a normal year, a lot of National League teams would balk on him because a lot of teams think, well, he's going to be a designated hitter. This isn't a normal year because we're coming up on a collective bargaining session with baseball where a lot of people believe that one of the things that will be bargained in is that everyone, National and American leagues, will use the DH. At which point, a player like Vaughn now doubles his work because he'd be valuable to a team where he could be a spot player at first base. Maybe, probably could throw him out in the outfield. What I've read, you could throw him out in the outfield for an inning or two and it wouldn't kill you probably. And he can absolutely rake. So, he's more valuable to San Diego, for example, if San Diego can use the DH.
Yeah, it looks like they're throwing Jared Horn. That is their ace. He's got a 1.82 ERA. He's got a .96 WHIP. Doesn't strike out a lot of people. Kind of interesting stats, but nonetheless, he's throwing against TCU today. So we'll see. Yeah, Andrew Vaughn having another stellar season. He is hitting .387 with a .1277 OPS. He's got 15 home runs. He's got 14 doubles, and he's slugging .728 this season.
Yeah, he can really hit. He can absolutely. He's one of those dudes that rolls out of the bed hitting. I mean, he can hit. So
that gives you a shot.
It gives you a shot, sure. I mean, I still pick Arkansas.
But it's a 4-team tournament. I mean, anybody can win a 4-team tournament.
Well, I mean,
Central Connecticut State can't, but anybody else can win the 4-team tournament.
Yeah, of the 16 regionals, the 1 seed will not win all 16. Now, watch me say that and all 16 win, and everybody's going to see what it doesn't typically happen.
No, there will be a 2 seed win a regional. I guarantee it. Guarantee.
Glad to have you in the boat with me.
Yes. No, 100%. It is. They are not going chalk. In fact, a national seed will lose a regional this weekend.
They do every year. So that's what, I mean, someone's going to get upset. It's a game. Baseball's a weird game. I was watching Phillies-Cardinals yesterday. I was working, but it was on in the background, and the Phillies had bases loaded, 1 out. Harper had doubled. They intentionally walked Hoskins, and it was Hernandez. And dude hits an absolute rope off Dakota Hudson. I mean, that ball was 105 off the bat. But it was a line drive right at Paul DeJong, who was played perfectly. Ends up being a double play. You hit the ball that hard, the numbers tell you it's going to be a base hit. A base hit would have given the Phillies a lead. It was a 1-run game at that point. So baseball's funny. I mean, weird stuff happens in baseball all the time. So something weird will happen in some regional somewhere. Someone's going to get upset. I personally don't think it's going to be Arkansas, and I personally don't think it's going to be Ole Miss. But somebody somewhere is going to get upset. No question about it.
Switching to football for the next question. What kind of leash do you think Matt Luke has given the current environment? 3 coordinators with head coach experience. Obviously, multi-year contracts for guys. Assume he has the year, but what if it's 0-2 start, disaster of a season? What do you think they would do given the AD and Chancellor situation?
Well, I have discovered that every time I answer this question, the words that I say are twisted and used against me. So I'm going to try to be careful with how I answer it. There's no real way to definitively answer this. It's much like the AD hot board question. There's no way to put up an AD hot board because the new chancellor is going to make that he or she is going to have at least some say in that answer. There's no real way to know precisely how much leash Matt Luke does or does not have until you know who the chancellor is and who the chancellor hires as an athletics director and when that hire is made. I personally think it would have to be a disastrous season on the field and subsequently off the field for Matt Luke not to get another year. That being said, the schedule came out, the early part of the schedule came out yesterday with times. If you told me that Ole Miss lost at Memphis to open the season, these are hypotheticals. I'm not predicting losses. To make that clear for everybody who uses these words. I'm not predicting losses. This is a hypothetical. If Ole Miss were to lose to Memphis and subsequently turn around the next week at home and lose to Arkansas, Southeastern, I apologize for typing Southeast. I should have known better. My last high school practice was at Southeastern Louisiana. I remember it vividly. If Ole Miss starts 0-2, the Southeastern Louisiana game at Vaught-Hemingway is a 3 p.m. start. I don't have a degree in meteorology. You don't either, but I suspect you will not disagree with this. The odds are overwhelming that at 3 p.m. on September the 14th in Oxford, Mississippi, it will be hotter than the surface of the sun. If you told me that at 0-2 against Southeastern Louisiana on a 96-degree day, less than 30,000 actual bodies were in the stands, I would buy it. And if that happens, I think the wheels get in motion for people to at least have a conversation of can we afford not to do something. But I do think it requires that sort of a bad start. It requires it requires attendance to fall off the cliff, which it could. It's falling everywhere. And if you're losing, it really falls. And if you're losing and there's not much morale and there's not much hope, it really falls. So all of those things would have to happen for him not to get another year. I don't really think they're going to just bottom out. I don't agree with the people that think this team could win 8 or 9 games. I don't personally. I don't see how you get there without just total fandom kicking in. But I do think they could win 5, 6, potentially 7 games, maybe. And so if they're in that mix, I think he's going to get another season.
Yeah, I buy all that. I'll agree up and down the line there. Take a break in the podcast to tell you about Mastercut's Lawn and Landscape Premium Lawn Care throughout northern Mississippi. Did you know they offer a lot more as well, from everything from custom playgrounds, retaining walls, pool decks, outdoor living spaces, paver patios, forestry mulching, and more. The path to your dream backyard easier than you think with Mastercuts. Go mastercuts.com for a free quote, or you get that same free quote by giving them a call at 662-607-7773. Again, that's gomastercuts.com.
Guest joins us this week on the Patterson and Earhart hotline. Patterson and Earhart, attorneys at law. They specialize in injury law, personal injury law, real estate law, and but theirs is a general practice. It can handle any of your legal needs. If you think you have a legal issue, if you just want to talk to an attorney about a legal issue without getting soaked right off the bat, take advantage of being a podcast listener. Get in touch with John Calvin Patterson, Wes Earhart. They're Ole Miss guys. They're local guys, and they will talk to you. They will give you a consultation. That initial consultation is free, 662-526-1992, or check out their website, PELaws.com. Don't forget, check out DeadSoxy.com. Get the no-shows, get the socks. Take advantage of being a podcast listener. Enter the code Rebel Grove at checkout. You get 30% off all orders, including sale items. Podcast also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust, based in Madison, Mississippi. What they do is they provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. They treat investing like a commodity, and decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, get in touch with them. Let them sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan that's built just for you. It's pintrust.com, PINNtrust.com. Mention you heard about them on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fee. Podcast also brought to you by the Westin Jackson. If you can accrue or use Marriott Rewards points there at the Westin Jackson. It is the place to stay if you're passing through Jackson on business or for pleasure or to visit friends or whatnot. You can check out Soul Spa. Be a wonderful place to spend a Saturday afternoon just sort of relaxing. And then that evening, you could go to Estelle Wine Bar and Bistro, sip on a creative craft cocktail, enjoy their curated wine list. It's open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch there with Chef Caden at the Westin Jackson. And we're brought to you by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. You guys know the drill by now. If you are thinking about a vacation, whether it's this summer, whether you're planning something for the holidays, whatever the case may be, special occasion, a honeymoon, an anniversary, just a trip with the boys to go golfing, whatever the case may be, get in touch with John. Give him some parameters, give him a budget, and he'll give you some options. And no, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387, or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast.
You mentioned those game times earlier. For those who haven't heard that, the opener against Memphis, what is going to be also known as the Surface of the Sun Bowl, that will kick off at 11 a.m. at the Liberty Bowl. Yeah, look, that's not an SEC 11 o'clock start. That's an American 11 o'clock start, and I got a feeling that's one of their national time slots. So Ole Miss very unlucky there that they got a premium spot inside that conference. But that conference starts at 11 a.m., so good for us, good for anyone with air conditioning. But that is going to be hot as hell in those stands on that Saturday.
I can't even imagine.
I mean, just blistering.
And that's turf, man.
Yeah.
That's turf.
I mean,
turf is so hot.
We got hot fast this year, so we haven't acclimated to it. But August, I mean, oh my gosh.
Yeah, Ole Miss catches a break. The Arkansas game,
6:30.
6:30 kick.
That's good for good for fans. If Ole Miss beats Memphis, that ought to be a pretty lively night that night.
I would agree.
And then that CLA game you mentioned at 3 p.m.
Yeah, you could have predicted that one.
Yeah.
That had 3 p.m. SEC network alternate or whatever.
I mean, that's a fan for that's a win for fans too, because that easily could have been an 11 as well.
I would argue that on a day like that, 11 is more pleasant than 3.
From a temperature standpoint, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I get the whole Grove thing. I understand. I'm not belittling that. I'm just saying from a pure sitting in the stands, watching the game, 3 o'clock is about as hot as it gets.
So we'll be out of Memphis by 4:30.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, you planning on working slowly? We should be out of there by 4:30 at the latest.
Okay.
Back in Oxford by 6.
Okay. Last time we were over there, it was much later than that. So I feel like.
The last time they played there, I feel like we can say this now. It was the year that Kimdichie got hurt.
Yeah.
They did, and this could happen again because this is the
I didn't
problem.
think about that.
This is the problem with the Liberty Bowl is that they have no ability to manage big media contingents from other schools, and they were going to put us in the stands. We weren't going to have access to Wi-Fi or anything, and so we just said screw it, and we watched it on television and did a big podcast.
We did.
And quite frankly, it was one of our most listened to podcasts.
Because given the way the game went, everybody wanted the lengthy reaction as much as anything else.
Yeah, so we might be back in Oxford long before that.
Yeah.
I mean, if they can't accommodate you from a media standpoint, you're better off doing something different.
Yeah. What is the best estimate for attendance in Oxford this weekend? Huge. They sold out in like 4 hours. It's going to be a packed crowd. Remember, the NCAA requires exact tickets sold, so you might not see some massive number, but I'm going to go with somewhere between 11,500 and 12,000 this weekend. Something like that. Packed. Huge. Yeah.
Yeah. If Ole Miss is smart, they will announce what they have to announce, but they won't announce what they really get, and they can kind of skim some off the top, if you will.
Yeah, don't be mad at the university if they go, today's attendance 9,114.
Yeah, that's just financial smarts there.
Yeah. The NCAA goes, hey, can you write your number down? Or like, yeah, about 6,200. Thanks. All right. Good.
I think the statute of limitations is up. I would have nights bartending on a Friday night where I'd make $300 in tips, and I would report $20.
$20.
Yeah, I'd say I made $20 in tips.
Isn't that so low that it's too low?
Probably is. I would have people say, hey, come on, you need to do a little more than that. But, I mean, there were nights that you just didn't want to get taxed on all that.
Yeah. Let's see. Moving down the line. Will there be fisticuffs at a particular member guest in 2020? I highly doubt it. I don't think anybody's going to draw hands. We do have 4-ball in the fall, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm kidding. Let's see. Let's see if Neil throws me out to the wolves here. Neil, you get a hard time about snake phobia, but it's a very common phobia, so obviously I'll go there. I know low-hanging fruit.
Did you see where a man from Tuscaloosa was killed by a cottonmouth?
Copperhead. He had a very allergic reaction that apparently would have happened had he been stung by multiple things too. It actually was a genetic deal as much as it was the snake bite.
Still.
You don't want to hear the positive PR when it comes to snakes, do you?
No. He got bit by a snake and he died.
You don't want gray, no context, nothing.
I don't need context. Dead snake.
I will tell you that, I showed you the picture, I think, of the snake that was on the golf course about a month ago, whenever it was. And
yes.
Jeffrey and I were playing that hole very close to that, either Saturday or Sunday. And I'm just about to hit, and I hear a splash in the water behind me. And I will tell you, I jumped out of my skin, and when I turned around, it was just a turtle. But it freaked me out.
I don't blame you.
I mean, I had to stop and like completely start over and collect myself and the whole thing. But yeah, I'm about to swing, and I hear this kerplunk down in the water, and I'm like, oh my God. And I turn around, and it's a turtle.
I would have had to change pants.
Yeah. Well, it's a turtle. It's a cute turtle.
Yeah, turtles are fine.
Okay. So anyway, the question is, would you rather have Chase be bitten by an eastern diamondback rattlesnake, survive, but you're on the pup list for a few months, or would you rather have to eat mayonnaise with every meal over the course of a year with no exceptions?
Well, I'm not going to let you get bit by a snake. I mean,
even though I am surviving.
Yeah, but I mean that's...
I do feel very cherished here because it's probably a very short list of people that you would not rather get bit by the snake than eat the mayonnaise.
There's no doubt about that. I mean, there's a lot of people that I'd say, hey, you're on your own. My initial thought is obviously I would not let you get bitten by the snake so that I could avoid mayonnaise. My second thought is if you told me that I had to have what was the word, dollop?
Yeah, a dollop, I think was the word.
Of mayonnaise with every meal, I probably could turn that into my advantage because I would suddenly go from eating a couple of meals a day. I would eat a meal every couple of days. My weight would get down to, I'd be down at 185 quickly.
Okay.
So I would be able to use that to my advantage. I literally would only eat when I was about to starve to death. I mean, I'd go 2.5, 3 days without eating to avoid that dollop of mayonnaise.
Best health club in Oxford. You've used several. What would you go with?
I don't know. It depends on what you're looking for. If you like classes, it's probably the Y. If you are looking for like weights and such, I like Beach Fitness a lot. You have to fight Jackson Avenue, and that can be problematic.
But it is not expensive, and they have anything you can want.
Yeah, their weight stuff is great. I mean, I frankly hate to tell a lot of people about it because I just don't want you all in there. I'm not crazy about Snap. I belong to Snap for a long time. A lot of their stuff gets run down, frankly. It's not well maintained. One of them is better than the other, but they are open 24 hours. I don't know really about Rebel Body Fitness. It looks nice in there. It's kind of changed names a few times. The equipment looks really nice. Shed Fitness is open. I've heard good things. I haven't used it. They have a lot of like cross training classes and such that, I mean, I know some people who have done it who have gotten really fit. So there are options. It kind of depends on what you're looking for.
Well, there are certainly options every corner, everywhere you look. So it must be working.
Yeah, no, I haven't used Shed, but I've heard they're great. I mean, I've heard people rave about them. So they must be doing really well. I've used a bunch of places, and I haven't done a lot of that cross training stuff because I'm kind of like you. I want to get fit, but I'm scared about like snapping an Achilles or an ACL or something, and then I'm laid up for 9 months.
Yeah. Who makes the best old fashioned in Oxford? Snack Bar is the only place that I order one of those, and frankly, I've got to be in the right mood. I don't have a lot of old fashions anymore, but I know Jeffrey still prefers them over any other cocktail, and I know he goes to Snack Bar and orders them with rye, and that is how he prefers his in town. So I'll take his word for it.
Yeah, Snack Bar and St. Leo.
Yeah, I mean, those are the by far the two best cocktail programs in town. So really, no matter what you're having, those will probably be my answers.
Yeah, the daiquiri at both of those places is also really, really good.
Yeah, and Snack Bar has a better Sazerac than St. Leo does.
Okay.
Because that is my cocktail of choice. So St. Leo, a little behind on that one. Better with the daiquiri, and then they've got a lot. Like I know all the girls like the Prosecco Pops and stuff like that. So, Let's see. For fun, can you project starting pitchers and position starters for Ole Miss baseball next season? I'm assuming you mean fun for you and not me, but sure. Let's see. Well, the rotation probably is in pretty good shape. I mean, you got Nikhazy and Hoagland back, and you find one more spot. They probably get Zach Phillips back from the draft this, I say this summer, but next week. It starts on Monday. There's some JUCO kids I want to see. Couple guys that I think could emerge in, and then to me, the most critical elements this offseason is figuring out what are you doing with Caleb Hill. You got to develop him. You got to get Caleb Hill more involved. He's too talented to be pitching like he is right now, or frankly not pitching like he is now because it's been sporadic on appearances. And then maybe they get really lucky because I don't think he's going to go pro next week. They very likely could have Nikhazy, Hoagland, and Houston Roth being a really, really good weekend rotation next year. I mean, that could be legitimately one of the top ones in the league. If Roth looks like Roth looked the last few weeks, if he keeps progressing, if he stays healthy, and he doesn't get a wild hair next week. I think if you made me just to predict, I think I would go Roth, Hoagland, and Nikhazy in some order next season. And I would be really scared to move Doug off that Saturday. I really like Doug in the middle game of the series. Just something about his mentality, something about the way he kind of matches up against number twos. I like Nikhazy there. You know that you got a couple guys back. Keenan's back. You know you're going to move Servideo to short. As of right now, I guess LaPosser behind the plate, but I'm not sure what all the other options are. I know another question asked about Hayden Dunhurst, the big-time prep catcher out of Mississippi, out of Pearl River Central. He's probably going pro. I think he will sign in the draft. I think he's going to get taken pretty highly. So that will not be an option. Should he show, I think there's a chance Ole Miss has a freshman catcher next season. You've got to get Tim Elko turned around. You know you're going to play Justin Bench. I think that he's better than maybe he's shown because he was out with that hand injury for a lot of the season. I really, really like Bench. I think he can play second base. You know you're going to play Kevin Graham. And then you just sort of fill it in from there. They've got some options. There's a lot of turnover because I think all those junior bats are going to leave. I think Johnson's gone. Kessinger's gone. Dillard's gone. I think Zabowski's gone. So a lot of turnover, but there are some options. It's just going to look different, but it's not necessarily going to be bad. I think they're going to be okay next year. So they've got guys, and especially on the mound, I think they can be really good. So, and the next question was about Hayden Dunhurst. Yeah, I do not think he's going to be in Oxford. I don't think it's a guarantee. This isn't some Gavin Caccini situation, but if you wanted me to handicap it, I would put the money on going pro as of right now. So, let's see. What is my prediction for the regional? Will the Rebels sweep it, or do you think the baseball played on Monday night? I think Ole Miss is going 3-0 this weekend.
Wow.
I do. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. Been wrong before. I was wrong last year, for sure. But I do. I think Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss goes 3-0 in this regional. I talked to Kendall even off air yesterday after I'd recorded that interview. He kind of thinks the same. It's just, if Ole Miss gets into a bad situation and doesn't win this regional, it's because Ole Miss did not play well and Ole Miss did something to itself. The other teams in this regional are not elite. I mean, they're good programs, but they're not elite teams. There's no elite team in this regional. The Rebels are by far the best team in the regional. Illinois loses their shortstop, kind of their best player in a way, a couple weeks ago. They're not even the same team they were in mid-March. And Clemson's a 3 seed out of the ACC. When you're a 3 seed out of the ACC, that means you've got some issues. Kendall does not believe that Illinois or Clemson has enough bullpen arms to come out of the losers bracket. It sets up well for Ole Miss. I frankly expect to be getting in the car on next Thursday and driving to Fayetteville. That's my guess.
Have you found out yet whether that's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or a Saturday, Sunday, Monday?
They are not going to decide that this year until they find out who goes to Monday to potentially give teams more rest if needed.
Oh, that makes sense.
They are picking the side of the bracket based off Monday games.
That's fair. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. Neil,
no, I think it's Ole Miss and Arkansas and Fayetteville next week.
I want it to be Ole Miss and Cal next week in Oxford, personally, but yes.
I don't think you're going to get your wish, but I could be wrong. No, Arkansas is really good in the postseason. They always have been, and they're.
I think Arkansas is holding their ace tonight.
I don't have a problem with that.
You can't beat Central Connecticut with your 2.
No, you throw your. I might even think about throwing my 3 at him.
if they don't have a guy.
Yeah, just beat them.
Yeah. And again, you don't have to beat them 10-1.
No, you can beat them 2-1. It doesn't matter.
You got to score one more run.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to believe that Central Connecticut has a pitching staff that's going to hold that lineup down 2 times through the order.
Ole Miss had a really big shot at Dominic Fletcher. He would be transforming this Ole Miss lineup right now.
Whew.
That would change things. Good
player.
Yeah. Neil, thoughts on Game 1 last night, NBA Finals? The Raptors take it up 1-0 in the series.
It was a good game. I'm embarrassed to admit the following. With 3 minutes left in the third quarter, I could not stay up any longer. I went to bed. My day got weird. We were supposed to have a baseball game, and it got canceled because the other team didn't have enough players. Because Oxford's one of those funny towns that, man, when school's out, everybody's gone. I mean, everybody's gone. And so we were going to play with 8. And the other team apparently didn't even have 8. So that game got canceled, and my day was kind of weird anyway. And bottom line was it was late third quarter, and I was starving, and I knew that if I stayed up any longer, I was going to eat. And so I went to bed. I woke up and saw the score. But I could have told you at that point that Toronto was winning. Without Durant, Toronto can really focus on Steph Curry. And they did. And Gasol was very good. Pascal Siakam was very good. I've seen people say, hey, it's a good sign for Golden State that, they played like crap and they only lost by 9. It's a good sign for Toronto that it won Game 1 with just kind of getting a night from Kawhi Leonard. A typical night. He didn't go off. There are some matchup issues for Golden State that figure prominently in this. And if Marc Gasol and Pascal Siakam are going to play that way, I'm kind of with Jeffrey on this. I taped a beer garden yesterday with I had a lot of people emails that they wanted me to do the podcast with Carson. And so we were sitting here and I said, you want to do a podcast? And he was like, yeah. And so we did a podcast, and he picked Golden State in 5, and I think he's dead wrong. I think it's because he hates them so much that he picks them to win, so that he's doing the reverse psychology. I kind of think Jeffrey's right. This is a series that Toronto probably is actually the favorite in right now. Now, there's a report out this morning that Kevin Durant's going to return midway through the series, meaning he's about a week away, and he can come back and play in Game 4 perhaps, maybe Game 3, maybe Game 4. He's going to have to be really sharp. But his presence on the floor probably takes Kawhi Leonard off of Curry and onto Durant, and it might let Curry take the series over for a game or two. This has a chance, Chase, to be if you like basketball at all, and if you like drama at all, this has a chance to satisfy your desires there. It's got a chance to be a really dramatic 7-game series.
Take a break to tell you about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. They're getting local underwriting that understands your market, a leader in condo financing and the float-down option, so you can lock in the current rate. But if rates go down before you close, you get that lower rate. 662-234-2704 or JLOWE@communitymtg.com.
Podcast also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan is the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and got a goofy email there. New and previously owned Nissan vehicles. Go in, test drive one today. Tell Gene and Sandy that you heard about Grenada Nissan on the podcast. You'll save Rebel savings on top of the already great deals at Grenada Nissan. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. Podcast also brought to you by Harry Alexander. Harry is an Oxford-based RE/MAX Legacy Realty agent. He is also a big part of Savannah Square. It's a new development, 9+ acre development, 0.7 of a mile from the Oxford Downtown Square, conveniently located east of North Lamar, just a short stroll from the Midtown Shopping Center. It's going to consist initially of 32 standalone detached structures ranging in size from about 1,100 square feet to 2,400 square feet. The model home is available for your inspection. It's located at 215 William Street. These homes have wonderful layouts, impeccable finishes. You can check them out at the model. So if you're coming up this weekend for the regional and you are thinking about making Oxford a home, a second home, a retirement home, whatever the case may be, go to SavannahSquareOxford.com and then get in touch with Harry with RE/MAX Legacy Realty, 662-801-5621. And if you're moving to Oxford, the place to bank is Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB offers all the benefits the big mega banks do, except they do it with a personal touch. When you call OUB, there's no live person to speak to. There's no 10 buttons to push. There's no 5-minute wait. What there is Kasasa. It's the absolute best cash checking account. And with Kasasa, OUB will pay customers 2.5% interest on their balances up to $50,000 and refund ATM fees nationwide. To learn more about OUB, check out liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. And don't miss 1 minute of the action at the Vaught this season as Ole Miss football arrives this September. Reserve your season tickets with the new 2019 season ticket pricing for just $299. For more information, visit OleMissTix.com. That's OleMissTix.com.
If you think you're going to be a little nervous, going to be a little anxious for the weekend and you're headed to Swayze Field, maybe it's time for that CBD oil that you've been hearing about. Time to give it a shot. They got multiple different options, between the soft gel capsules, the sublingual oil, or the topical salve. It is an all-natural product that helps maintain overall health and regulate many conditions such as depression, anxiety, pain, insomnia, and more. Studies show 42% of CBD users stop using traditional medication and use cannabis instead. No crazy side effects, legal in all 50 states, and you get the correct potency and product with G&M there on South Lamar. They deliver local for all your medication needs to your home or workplace, and you can transfer those medications over to G&M with 662-236-2222. Okay, let's see where we were. Jumping back in. How come Bianco has never opted for the early Friday game when hosting a regional? Arkansas State doing it this year. Crowds, night games, something like that.
Yeah, crowds.
That's period.
And you avoid the heat a little bit. I mean, if you play a game at, what's the first game of the day? 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, you play that 3 o'clock game. I mean, it's going to work out today, but typically the last weekend of May, 3 o'clock in the afternoon can be a scorcher. And if you end up getting your players out there in one of those deals, you can drain them a little bit where they got to turn around the next day and play. And maybe they don't have quite as much juice in that big Saturday game.
And you're planning on winning, so you're just going to play at 6 the next day. No big deal. It's all good.
Yeah, sure.
Play at 7, play at 6, play at 8. That's the way you do it. 8. 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock Sunday, buddy.
Yeah. It's going to be late.
That is late.
It's going to be really late.
Is it bad that I'm a little nervous about covering a recruiting camp?
Why?
Because I really don't know what the hell it is that I'm covering. I haven't covered one in so long that I don't know kind of how it works. I'm going to be like a puppy following people around at first. I don't really know whether I don't really know the sort of unwritten rules of covering a camp anymore because it's been so long.
Same way they've always been, I would assume.
Probably so. Just I heard different staffs do them different ways. And you know me, I don't want to be the guy that gets in the way. You'll see some guys that are like out on the field talking to guys, and I'm never wanting to be that person because I don't know.
Chase, who wins more majors, Rory, Spieth, or Koepka? Well, it's hard to bet against Brooks Koepka at the moment. He is he's still pretty young. He has 4. Rory has 4, but Rory hasn't won one since 2014, if I'm right on that.
Yep.
So
answer.
Yeah, I mean, any of those 3s could be the answer, but it's hard to bet against Brooks right now.
I don't even know anything about it, and I know it's him because every time I look up, he's in the top 3.
Yeah, Spieth has not gotten his game back, and Rory has blown a lot of chances. I mean, Rory's 30 now. I mean, still completely in his prime for another 5 years at least. But
yeah, I think it's Koepka.
Koepka's weird deal is he just doesn't win regular tournaments. Just wins the majors.
Your money's made in the majors.
It is. It is. It is.
Your reputation is formed in the majors. He might be one of those guys who there's some guys that aren't good practice players. When the lights come on, they're different. He might be one of those guys.
Let's see. Buy or sell. Scotty Phillips, 1,000 yards next year.
Is Ely playing?
Well, the next question is buy or sell. Jerry and Ely in Rebel uniform.
I'm buying that he's playing football, so I will go. I'll sell, and not because I think Corral's going to run more, and if Ely plays, he's going to get a lot of carries too. So I don't know that there would be enough volume of carries for one person to get the 1,000.
I'll buy that. Yes, I think Jerry and Ely is in a Rebel uniform. I'm just getting no scouting buzz on him baseball-wise whatsoever right now. I know his agent's still telling a couple people there's 2 teams involved and blah, 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 and maybe there are. But no scouts at his game is a huge red flag.
Yeah, it only takes one team, but I don't know that team's out there. And his football stock is really high after the All-Star stuff, the game, Under Armour, whichever one he played in. I think he plays football. I think he's going to. There's a soft verbal out. It's in the Oxford Exxon feed. You can see it there. It's on iTunes. It's on Podbean. Russell talked about this too. And he's right. His football stock's really high, and because of what happened with Kyler Murray, Major League Baseball teams are scared of the football guys right now. Not wanting to do that as much. So I think he's going to play football.
Yeah. Let's see. From Groven1551, you don't eat pimento cheese or chicken salad. What do you get at Nukes? What does Neil get? I'll eat pimento cheese. I don't seek it out, but it's fine. I don't eat chicken salad. Typically at Nukes, I'm either going to get the ultimate salad or I'm going to get the Nukes Q and add lettuce to it. I'm going to stay away from anything with tomatoes, and I do like their chicken tortilla soup. So, yeah, that's my typical order there.
I like Nukes a lot since I've started this new deal. I haven't been there. I haven't eaten there. I went with Laura and just got an unsweet tea. I have to do so many adjustments to stuff that I hate doing that to the people, so I just don't order. But it's really good. It's one of my favorite places, but there's nothing really that I
couldn't just answer the question, huh? Just a bowl of corn chowder or something and move on.
I'm being honest. I don't go there because I'd have to alter my order so much, and I hate not because I just hate doing that to the people. Like, I know from working in the service industry that you hate people that do that. So I don't want to be that person.
How many alterations before you get to the point that gets obnoxious? Because I don't think I'm bothering them by adding lettuce to a sandwich.
No. It's when you can I change this to this, and can I take this off, and can I add this, and do you have the? It's just at some point, just if it's not, it's on the menu. If you don't want it, don't get it. So the answer to your question is after about 2.
So don't be Sally from When Harry Met Sally. That's what you're telling me.
Yes, they hate that person.
Well, I want the pie cold unless there's the ice cream. Then I want to heat it up, but then I want it on the side.
Yeah, then they get it wrong, and the person gets mad, and you're like, why are you here?
HB01 says, I'll be listening on my way to a job interview. Any tips or advice?
Ooh. Man.
You know that, I think I'm right here. In the traditional sense of going in and like having a pool and getting chosen, whatever, I've never been on a traditional job interview ever in my life.
Yeah, I have.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I've been on a few. I hated them. I think the answer is be yourself. Don't don't put on airs. They'll either sense it, or if you get the job, you'll be. I mean, I guess be yourself, be prepared.
Ask questions, make it a conversation.
Yeah, you do want to ask questions. You don't want to be desperate. Even if you are desperate, you don't want to act desperate. And ask questions, get answers, because you're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. Because they're putting their best foot forward as well, and you want to get past that. You want to get to their worst foot. Find out what's bad about them too, because if you're going to work there, you're going to find out eventually. So you need to know now.
There, Goodbye Tadpad says there is a Parm community. What's the McCready community look like?
What does that mean?
I guess just your people. What does that look like?
I don't know. Pretty barren.
Pretty barren.
I don't know.
Oh, gosh. Speaking of places, the gods come down and say you have 1 year left to live, but you and your family have been granted 4 trips of a lifetime with all expenses paid. Throughout the next 12 months, you'll choose 4 places around the world you've never visited and spend the whole year there, traveling between those 4. No work, school, obligations, nothing. What 4 locations are you choosing?
Oh, wow. I'd go to Italy.
Yeah, it'd be somewhere in Europe. Somewhere in that Monterey, California area.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I mean, I don't have to worry about money. I don't have to worry about. I'd probably literally would do some of it in Big Sur and Monterey and Pebble Beach and all of that. Where else would I go?
You're basically just looking for sunspots, mostly, aren't you?
Yeah, I would think so. I might do Australia. Sounds cool, except for all the crazy animals, but I probably could figure out a way around that. And if I'm dying in a year anyway, what difference does it make? I don't know. You got what's yours?
I mean, there's a couple. I need time to think about it from the standpoint of you're trying to maximize time with your family. You're trying to maximize all those things, because my head doesn't go there first. When you when you talk to me in general, you go, hey, you've got 4 places to pick. I start thinking golf courses and stuff. And it's like, no, that's not necessarily the purpose here. You know what I mean? So I'm having to sort of adjust my mindset a little bit for this. But,
yeah, because you're doing family.
Yeah.
Although you could go places where there was stuff for them to do and you could go play golf.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you had 12 months to live, you're not going to stop the one activity you enjoy. You know what I mean? Like, completely. That makes no sense.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's a good question. Think about it. Let's see. Bandit 0321 says, we'll have chicken at the regional. The softball one only served the normal snack food and specialty food they came up with for the games. I'm about starved at softball. Recently found out I'm allergic to red meat. You poor, pitiful guy. Oh, my God.
Yeah,
allergic to red meat.
Yeah, that's not good. I'd go get a second opinion on that.
I'm in mourning for you right now.
Yeah, I'd get a second opinion on that. I'm pretty reliant on red meat.
Yeah, I think you look at the doc and go, you sure?
Yeah, can we check this out again? I'll give you some more blood. Let's make sure we're right on this.
I would assume that there are going to be chicken fingers and pork and the things that are always at baseball. I have no reason to believe that it will be a limited menu just because it's a regional. I mean, I haven't asked that, but sure.
He might be concerned because of the specialty hot dogs. Does that mean that there's only going to be specialty hot dogs? And I would venture to guess the answer to that is no.
No, there will not just be the specialty hot dogs. I feel very confident about that. I'm pretty sure there's always 2 wraps as well. There's like a chicken Caesar wrap and maybe like a hummus wrap or something.
We haven't necessarily had a crap take of the day. There are lots of candidates out there, but it's brought to you by Scooper's Pet Waste Removal, LLC. Everyone loves their pets, but no one loves stepping in their pet's stuff, and then tracking that stuff back into your house can be a nightmare. Scoopers will take care of that for you. They'll go into your backyard, your apartment complex, your condominium, and pick up what no one really wants to pick up. For $10 a cleaning, Scoopers will clean up your yard. They'll do it on your schedule whether that's weekly, bi-weekly, or a one-time service. There's no contracts required. You can cancel at any time. If you have multiple dogs, it's just $2 for each additional dog. So if you own a home, a condo, or an apartment complex in Oxford and you'd like to deal with a lot less crap, call Scoopers, 662-506-2754, or simply send them an email at scoopers.oxfordpetwaste@gmail.com to get your cleanings scheduled today. Blue Delta Jeans, they're open today and tomorrow from 10 to 6 on the square. You can drop in, check out their new collection, get a fitting. You also can or set up a time if you want to schedule a specific time. You can do that. Slide into their DMs on Instagram or Twitter at Blue Delta Jeans, or send them an email, info@bluedeltajeans.com. And one of the Blue Delta stylists will reach out to you with details. If you want to get fitted on Sunday, let's say that Chase's prediction is accurate and the Rebels win tonight and the Rebels win Saturday and the Rebels don't play until 8 p.m. on Sunday, and you're saying, well, what am I going to do with my day? And one of the things that you decide you want to do with your day is you want to get a fitting at Blue Delta Jeans, but Neil, the store is closed. Send them an email, info@bluedeltajeans.com, and schedule a private fitting, and someone will meet you there and get your fitting, and you can get into your pair of Blue Deltas this weekend if you're coming in for the regional. We're also brought to you by 7 South Tailgating. 7 South is the premier tailgating service provider at Ole Miss, although they offer your standard tailgating services such as tent, table, and chair setup and breakdown. There's much more. They'll set up, break down, and store your own personal gear, or you can rent the gear from them. They offer cooler, ice, beverage service, TV, satellite generator service, storage bins for supplies and decor, chandeliers, tablecloths, papers, cups, napkins, utensils, rope lighting, box fans, carpeting, hay, ground cover. Basically, they offer everything. And for all of the items you plan to bring yourself on game day, they even have staff on site to assist you in unloading upon your arrival. So call or go online today for a detailed quote customized to your specific tailgating needs. 662-321-1682 or visit 7southtailgating.com.
So let's see, top 5 favorite liquors that are both readily available and under $60. I don't have a lot of variants. I stick with a lot of bourbon and rye. I don't know. I mean, I think if you're just trying to grab a couple bourbons for your bar, I think that maybe like E.H. Taylor small batch and maybe just Four Roses single barrel or 2 good ones just to always have around.
Yeah, Evan Williams single barrel is readily available.
The answer has always been McKenna, but suddenly that's started popping up on the secondary market more, and the prices are getting stupid.
Yeah, I can't even find the McKenna that I like as much anymore.
No, you can't. It won a competition last year, and it's gone.
Yep. And had I known that was going to happen, I would have bought about 10 bottles.
I mean, I keep a little of everything, but I'm not name brand dependent on most of it. I mean, I'm always going to have a vodka and a gin and a rum, but frankly, I don't really care what they are most of the time.
Yeah, because if you're
just mixing them with stuff. Like, I'm going to have a rum around for a daiquiri, but usually it's just the biggest bottle of Bacardi, and it sits on the bottom of the shelf.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're mixing it doesn't really, I hate to break it to people, but it doesn't really matter.
I never drink vodka straight, ever.
Yeah, I don't either, and I need to try, because I know people who have vodka almost the way that I have bourbon. They put a big ice cube in it, and they squeeze a lime, and they're happy.
It kind of sounds refreshing.
It does sound refreshing, because some days it's so hot, frankly, that it's too hot to enjoy a bourbon yet.
Are you a martini person?
Laura loves them. That's her thing. And so I have tried to at least develop enough of a taste for them where if I'm making one for her that it's okay. But no, it's not. I'm never going into a bar and ordering a martini, not for any reason other than it's just there are lots of drinks that I enjoy more.
If it's kind of still really hot outside and it's not just, hey, let's pour bourbon over an ice cube or drink it neat because it's 98 degrees. What I will do sometimes is I'll make an old-fashioned, but I'll probably put just a touch more simple syrup than I usually do just to sweeten it a touch. And then I add maraschino liqueur.
Oh.
And it gives just a little bit of a different flavor and kind of makes it kind of summer cocktail-y with bourbon. So
I get that.
Little tip there, potentially.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah. So, which would you rather cover? An Egg Bowl where both teams are playing to get to Atlanta, or a Super Regional Egg Bowl edition?
Oh, that's now for me that's easy because I love to watch people drama. Give me the Egg Bowl football. Nothing against baseball because that would be compelling drama.
In its own right, it has its idiosyncrasies.
Yeah, and you'd get potentially 3 days of it.
Ooh, that's true.
Yeah, you'd get day 1 where everyone's nervous. You'd get game 2 where somebody is in trouble and somebody's cocky.
And then it could flip on you the next day.
And then it'd flip, and game 3 would just be freaking fantastic to just get your binoculars and watch people all day long.
The eighth inning of a tied game 3 to go to Omaha would be, I mean, you would feel like the entire crowd is waiting on their court sentence at that point.
Yeah. Nobody would enjoy it at all. It would just be pure torture.
We were so close to that in 14.
Yeah, we were really close.
All State had to do was beat Lafayette one time.
But the answer is the football.
Because, oh my God.
Yeah, because the week building up to that game would just be fantastic. And for people like you and me, we would enjoy watching the media portion of it a lot too. We would get so much there. And then that game, can you imagine that game going into about the 8-minute mark of the fourth quarter where it's anyone's game? That place would be so tight. Whether it was Oxford or Starkville, that place would be so uptight.
I mean, in 14, I walked into the stadium and thought, "Oh my God, there is a hatred in this place that I've never seen in a football game before." In 14,
yeah, that was the year that Ole Miss had gotten popped at Arkansas and came back and won. Right? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That rivalry, man. And people can say what they want. There was a brawl on the field last year. A brawl. When was the last time you saw a brawl at the Iron Bowl? That hate's ratcheted up. It's big time. Ole Miss has another opportunity this year to do the Neal McCready special. I think State's going to be the big disappointment in the SEC. I think it's one of the real winnable games if Ole Miss's season doesn't go, into the tank early in the year. If that scenario that we talked about early doesn't come to fruition, and I frankly don't think it will, that's a game that could be a lot on the line in that game for Ole Miss potentially. I mean, if I told you that Ole Miss was 5-6 or 6-5 going into Starkville, that's realistic. Could happen. Now, they could be worse than that, and I guess it's conceivable they could be better than 6-5 going into that game. I have a hard time finding it, but regardless, I think State's down. I think State's the disappointment in the SEC West. You have a chance to win the game in their stadium. It'll never happen. I don't know why I even keep doing it, because it would just be it would be so great. The drama of watching State respond to that would be hilarious if you left the trophy sitting there.
Going full circle, a guy goes, "I have a bet with my buddy that Bianco is out after this year. The bet is void if they make it to Omaha. How's my bet looking from where you're sitting?" Well, you better hope they get to Omaha.
Yep. You better hope they get to Omaha to avoid it, because otherwise you're losing the bet.
You better hope they win 5 more baseball games.
Yep.
That is your hope at this point. And then finally, what are the odds baseball game gets started by 7 tonight? Well, I mean, there's no rain in the forecast. I don't know why it wouldn't. So, yeah, I think we're...
because he's talking about how Illinois and Clemson can end up playing a 3.5-hour game. And
we're fine. It's going to start at 7.
You're probably right.
It's going to start at 7. Both teams going to throw strikes. Be all right. 7 o'clock, Ole Miss. I mean, 7:05, I guess, but whatever.
You just jinxed it.
I don't believe in that.
Okay.
I don't. I annoy people in the press box because I'll just out of spite, be like, yeah, it's gonna be a fun 16th inning here in a couple hours. You get the looks like, you son of a. Just saying. So, anyway, all right, plenty of coverage at BullGrove.com. Again, Garrett Farmer, little scouting report up, more content coming your way, and then plenty after the game and through the weekend as we see who's going to win this Oxford Regional, Ole Miss and Jacksonville State, 7 o'clock, and then either 12 or 6 tomorrow, pending a win or a loss. So, for Neil, Chase, and we'll talk to you again on Monday.